Hi, guys. Dr. Pam, owner and founder of Academic Coaching for World Changers. I always want to thank you for tuning in to watch our videos. I realize there are 1,000 videos out there. There are 1,000 different tutors. There are 1,000 different techniques. And I really appreciate you for checking us out. And really, those of you that are constant followers, thank you for trusting us. We really, really, really appreciate that. If you know anything about me, you know that I truly believe that I have a calling from God, my Heavenly Father, and I don't ever pretend to call that, to deny that. So, whatever God you worship, I feel for free. But I truly believe that there is something inside of us. I believe that in the Bible, Jeremiah says that, I formed you when you were in your mother's womb. I don't believe that you fell into this career by accident, and I don't believe that you found my videos by accident. So I thank you for listening to your intuition, your heart, your spiritual, whatever you choose. I thank you for trusting us most often, and I promise you, the goal is that we really want you to pass the test. I'm not going to make you a better therapist. I've never pretended to say that. Never, ever, ever. There's a lot of people that have a license, and I know you and I are looking like, who gave them a license? Like, what? They're just better test takers than you are. Our goal is to teach you how to pass this test, how to understand how a standardized test works, and definitely take you out of the question. And a lot of people that I work with really focus on what they would do. And remember, everybody takes the exact same test. Everybody doesn't think like you. Everyone doesn't think like me. Thank God, right? Okay. So understand it's a standardized test. I also want to take the time to really make sure that you know what our podcast does. So our podcast is a paid channel. Our podcast really is my feel good channel. Yes, there's content in there on how to pass the test, but most often it's based on people that have taken the test, most often numerous times. Numerous times. It talks about their study program and what didn't work and what did work. We're always going to be real on anything that I produce. Anything that I put my name on is going to be honest and real. So I'll be real with my clients. I'll be real with you. We're all human. We're all human, and we're all trying to work out this path that I believe your Heavenly Father has called for you. I thank you for tuning in today, and I'm going to go to question and answers. Remember, what we teach is it's a reading test. Did I say it again? It's a reading test. So you have to have some content, but you also would have to know how to answer a standardized question that many times is not written for you. The theorists that we study are old white men, old upper middle class white men. Did you know that when Maslow's theory first came out, the other theorists were like, what? People need food, people need clothing, physiological, that PHY, physiological means physical needs first. But that was very controversial at the time. That's a theory that I use to this day. I do a lot of consultations for school systems. I don't do private practice anymore. I've been in the field for 32 years, and really all I do is teach and support people who are trying to build a business or get their own license. But physiological means physical. I love Maslow's theory. I use it daily, and I can definitely relate to it. I remember my husband died it's been quite a while now. But I was just me. It was just me. And I didn't plan on being a single mom. That was not my goal. I didn't have children until I was educated and married. I did all the right things. And now I'm a single mom trying to raise my kids. And I remember not being able to make, I couldn't be the room mother anymore. I couldn't be the band camp parent anymore because I had to make sure the mortgage was paid. And it was hard. It was definitely hard. So any of you single mothers out there, I wasn't a single mother until I was 50. So I can't pretend. Actually, my husband died about 3 weeks before my 50th birthday. And I was lost. I was lost. And I knew Maslow's hierarchy, and I had used it and I taught it 1,000 times. But when it came down to doing the things that I wanted to do for my kids, based on what had to happen, I had to choose what had to happen. The mortgage had to be paid. The kids needed food and clothing, all those good things. So, by the way, when it comes to those things, the bottom needs now are called the D needs, the deficits. And I can't get to my top, right? Self actualization. And those are my B needs to be a better person. But the goal is I've got to get my D needs met first. Okay. Maslow hasn't changed. And if you're one of my LPC people, you know that Anne Rowe used Maslow's theory in her theory, fields and levels. Okay. So let's get to my question. I'm going to share my screen. And again, we're going to talk about how we answer questions and understanding that it's a reading test. It's a reading test. Okay. So you are working with a male client who's 40 and suffering from symptoms of depression. In the past, he was very active and participated in competitive races for running and cycling. He was recently injured and now unable to achieve the same results. While he is able to go running and cycling during his rehabilitation, he is struggling to motivate himself to get active, which is something he views as desirable. You notice that it seems like he misses both the sport and the competition. Bring up your observation. You bring up one of your observations during one of his sessions, asking if he thinks a goal may help him with his issue. He agrees to give it a try. Which of the following is the most appropriate goal for you and your client to establish? Whoa, there's 1,000 words in there, and I know that many of you are lost in the question. I will tell you always, I prefer the longer ones because it gives me so much more material to work with, and it's a reading test. No matter what test you're taking, all of the questions measure your knowledge, skills, or abilities. There's something in whether you're a social worker, whether you're a NCE, whether you're LMFT, no matter what, go to the board's site and pull up the KSAs. So when I'm looking at a question like this, the first thing I'm thinking is, what is the test trying to measure that I know? What are they trying to see that I know? What are they measuring? So it's a long question, but I know when it says goals. Oh, goals. That's a key right there. What I know is it's probably about treatment goals. And remember, we never, ever tell a client what to do. Never. Treatment goals are collaboration, right? We can't have the client tell us what they want because many times that's unrealistic. But I'm also not going to impose my values on a client's life. That's not an option. So treatment goals are part of what we do with the client. Okay? So I also know that treatment goals have to be SMART goals. That's all the information I need to know before I even look at any of the answers. Remember, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So if Dr. Pam says, I want to lose 50 pounds in a month, I am pretty sure even with all the shots or whatever's out there, I don't think that is the SMART goal. It's specific, right? Is it realistic? Is it relevant? Can I do that? I don't think so, but it sounds good in my head, right? So remember, with your client, the goals always have to be SMART goals. And so while we talk about the vagueness of the question, I know it's goals. So my mind is staying in the question, right? Oh, what are they measuring? They're measuring, do I know how to write goals? All of this stuff in there matters, but they're measuring, do I know how to write goals? Okay. So let's go back to the question to make sure I really understand what they're asking me. So I'm working with the male client. I know he's 40 and he's got symptoms of depression. But I also happen to know that he's a very competitive runner and cyclist. Okay. He was recently injured and now unable to achieve the same results. So he's depressed. I come in and I'm trying to help him get motivated, and I'm trying to work with him to come up with some goals together, things that are realistic, things that are time-based, things that we can do. So then, which of the following is the most appropriate goal for you and the client to establish? So again, I know when the question, what they're measuring, because I've read the question over and over again, my mind went to, what KSA? How does the test want me to answer this? What are they measuring that I know? I'm going to read all four and rule out what it. can't be based on what I know about the question. A, this client will run or cycle thrice a week. Oh my gosh, why can't they put the test questions in English? Thrice just means 3 times a week. I know the test question is written on for upper middle class white men. It doesn't mean that I can't answer the question. It just means I can't bring Dr. Pam into the question. And I'll always say to you, you need to increase your vocabulary because it's a reading test. If you know me at all, Dr. Pam doesn't read. That's why I make these videos. It's not that I don't read. I love learning and I love books being read to me. I love my YouTube. I swear I'll Google a book on YouTube and it reads to me. I love Audible that will read to me. I got my doctorate degree on articles that read to me. I love learning. I'm not a reader, and I'll share it maybe in a different video about my visual issues and why maybe I'm not always why reading doesn't always appeal to me. Okay, let's say in the question, the client will run or cycle thrice, 3 times a week for 30 minutes for the next 2 weeks. B says the client will enter and participate in competitive races within the 30 days. C, the client will return to their former fitness level before the end of the year. And D, the client will find a new hobby that is not in the area of fitness. So remember, as I'm looking for these questions, I've got to be able to prove it in the question. How do I know it's the best answer based on what the question says, not what I think? That's why I tell you, please leave your thinking cap at home. All the things that make you an excellent clinician, therapist, don't do on this test. Okay? And again, I'm not trying to make you a better therapist. I'm trying to teach you how to measure and how to pass a standardized test. So let's look at them each at a time. The client will run or cycle 3 times a week for 30 minutes for the next 2 weeks. That sounds pretty good, right? But if I go back to the question, it says in the past he was very active. He was recently injured and now unable to achieve the same results. While he's able to go running and cycling during his rehabilitation, he's struggling to motivate himself. You notice that he misses both the sport and the competition. So he's in his 40s, he's suffering from symptoms of depression, and he used to be very active. I don't know that starting off with the client will run or cycle 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Okay, think about that one. Let's leave that in for a bit. So not sure, let's leave it in. Okay. B, the client will enter and participate in a competitive race in 30 days. Ooh, in 30 days? That's smart, right? It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, but is it relevant or realistic? I want to take that one out. I don't think that's realistic because based on what I've read in the question is, he hasn't competed in a while. He really wants to compete, but he hasn't been able to compete in a while. So I'm thinking that may not be the best answer for him. I'm going to take that one out. Okay. So I'm back to my question. C, the client will return to his former fitness level before the end of the year. Okay, I like that. I really do. I go back to the question. He's 40. He's suffering from symptoms of depression. He was very active. He was recently injured and now unable to achieve the same results. Okay. It doesn't go into detail of what his injury is, but I do know that he's able to go running and cycle during his rehab. But I think that's not realistic. So if anyone has had any kind of accident by the end of the year, and the question also doesn't tell me what month they're in. Is it December? Is it March? Is it whatever? So I don't know that that's my best answer. Okay. So I'm definitely going to take that out as well. I'm just going to choose my color one and take it out. Oh, sorry, not that one, this one. Okay. So I've taken out A, B, and D, right? So now between A and C, I'm always going to go back to my question to prove it. The client will run or cycle 3 times a week for 30 minutes for the next 2 weeks, the client will find a new hobby that is not an area of fitness. So while D is a good idea, right? If he can't compete anymore, but that's not what he wants. He says he misses the sport and he misses the competition. So D will not get him where he wants to be. Remember, treatment goals are based on what the client wants, not necessarily what I want, but what does the client want? Okay. So that leaves me with the answer of A. So in this question, the best answer is A. So this question I know was long, and many of you hate the long questions. I personally think they're your best bet. They give you so much more information you can go through. Don't get lost in the question. Go back, read what you need to know. And many of my clients have been taught, just read the last question or just focus on what they're asking you. If they're giving you all of that information in a question, they're giving that to you for a reason. Go back, read it, focus on it, understand all the information, and then go back to the 4. Figure out what they're trying to measure. What is this test question trying to measure? What are they trying to see if what I know? And then rule out. Okay. And remember, this one was really based on my SMART goals. So this one says relevant. I used to sometimes say realistic. Okay. So I hope this question helped you a lot. Remember to subscribe to our channel and to like, subscribe below, and follow us. I try to release videos as often as I can. And our goal really is just to get you to pass, get this stupid sheet of paper, because I truly believe there are people out there waiting for you that you can't see until you get there. I truly believe that you are a world changer and you are changing people's lives, and that's changing the world, and especially if we make generational changes. Okay. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for trusting us. And I hope that I see you in a live session with me and Dr. Pam. Bye, guys.